All right, folks, welcome back to a brand new best of 3. This is the first of 2 semifinals for the Corsair Cup. Spawning in the lower left side, we've got the blue Terran, Base Lord CTC, aka MajOr.
The top right as the red Terran, he is uThermal.
MajOr seriously has like a different name every week, I swear to God.
He does. Back when we were casting him fairly frequently, it was like everything was a different name. And then he fell off a little bit, has been back on the rise. Not really the super duper foreign hope that didn't show up to anything like he used to be. Now he shows up for whatever he, actually signs up for, which is great, an improvement, but doesn't win as much as he used to.
That's not necessarily a terrible thing, because I would rather see a more consistent MajOr than a MajOr who never shows up and fails to be at a lot of events.
Yeah. He definitely had a bit of a what's the word, notoriety for that, and whatever, but he's actually definitely improved with Legacy the Void. And it was Legacy the Void, like I don't know what flipped to switch, but like Legacy the Void beta released, and suddenly whenever he signed up for something he would actually play. I don't know. Anyway,
I think a small part of that is, on one hand, like MajOr, he's trying to be more active because I think he saw the repercussions of constantly missing out on things and whatnot, but also with a lot of these cups, for a small time, kind of forced into it because him and Marine Lord and DNS were all kind of banned from things for a while.
Yeah, of course. That was a couple months ago, and the ban has been lifted, so they're all allowed back. But I guess Marine Lord is become a meme at this point. Apollo had to directly address it in the recent IEM announcements he's been making. Whatever. So this TvT should be a pretty good one. While MajOr isn't winning everything like he used to, looking like the best foreigner that just, didn't play in enough stuff to really secure the title, he's still good. He's still, definitely a decent Terran. It's just that uThermal, his weakness is usually TvZ, so great to see him overcome Guru. That's awesome. His TvP also has a couple like adept all-ins, something's gonna be really bullshit, like, when is it not? But he still looks pretty good against that. And TvT, I think, is where he really can shine with his micro and just understanding of the matchup.
I mean, watching him use his Marine tanks, he was one of the first players early on who seemed to figure out that you have to drop your tanks first.
Yeah, right? Like, that was such a wild concept for so many Terrans that we were winning against actual pro gamers because of it.
I missed the early days of the beta, man. Like, and not just because of the balance that was like good or bad, but we were actually winning games against pros and it felt good.
Yeah. This is a little awkward.
This shouldn't be doing
just a little
much.
bit too greedy. He went for a third CC on location, mind you, and delayed his defense by doing the same thing on the other side of the map.
Yeah, both players losing a lot of workers to this, and I feel like MajOr is taking actually the worst trade. Actually, hold up, but that Reaper grenade hitting that heli, this might not be so bad. Pulls back his second one. Grenade's going to be flying off. SCV's being pulled into this. He's almost cleaning this up.
Oh my god, he's gonna get the Hellion. He's gonna get it. Oh, the regen hits in. Okay, so I didn't even notice that MajOr had gone for the same third CC that was also denied. I thought he was at least better off in that front.
Yeah.
Nope, he's actually doing much worse.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, that bunker, as silly as it was a big cost of, like, what he could have put towards more defense. So MajOr's on 12 workers, uThermal's on 21, and Zombie Grub, I just say shame on you for doubting in uThermal for even a fraction of a moment.
That was my bad. It certainly was. I did say I thought he was gonna win. It was snowballing, not as hard.
MajOr might not actually get the CC finished up. There's only a small amount of Marines to defend against Hellions and a Reaper that could just dive past it even if they wanted to. And they are just going to run around the side, get a nice angle on these Marines. Grenade's going to help out quite a bit. He's not going to get on top of the command center, but still, MajOr's got to be scared.
His Reaper, I thought, was going to snipe that SCV because it went around.
Yeah, it did look like it was wrapping to the side. New sub alert! We just finally got a new sub. First one today. Thank you to Kratianos. And I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Let us know how to say it in chat. But thank you for that new sub. We also had Drogo sub the other day, well after we finished casting. And I'm suspecting it's because he wanted to watch how good he played in the Civil War. Like, he couldn't wait for them to go on YouTube. Because he did play so freaking good the other day, man.
I know for a fact that playing in real sports and in art, there are times you just have a good day and you actually can study yourself to figure out what made it such a good day. So it's as funny as that sounds. I think it'd actually be a really good thing for him to do.
People are asking about the reference for getting banned. MajOr whether it was just or unjust was up for a big topic of debate. Marine Lord and DNS just kind of accepted their punishments, but there was some win trading on the ladder when it came to placements for a pretty important tournament. So 3 players suspected and 3 players banned for it, and they were banned, and not only banned but lost all WCS points gained up to that point. Like, it was pretty severe punishment. And it was really up to debate on like whether it was fair or not, because there's some evidence that said Major may not have actually deserved it, or this, that, the other. But the point of it was Blizzard put their foot down, and I guarantee you no one's thinking about win trading again anytime soon. No one's gonna risk that. I think there's actually a Reddit thread where someone had thought Hero Marine was win trading, and he quickly had to explain it because he didn't want there to be any chance that people thought there was any of that going on because of how severe the punishments have been for it.
I do remember that. What's a little awkward is that you'll hear, I think that was part of Hero Marine's defense, don't quote me on it though, but other people for sure have talked about sharing accounts, and that's why one thing or another looks a little suspicious.
And it's also not allowed by Blizzard.
It's also not allowed, but people do it all the time. So it's a little gray.
What's kind of silly about that is like, it doesn't make it right, but it is hard for Blizzard to enforce that, because the problem is if they only enforce it on like a small portion of the people, then that's really messed up. And it's impossible to enforce it on everybody across the BattleNet.
Exactly.
I mean, casters for a long time had to share accounts because the region locks, and back then you couldn't have one account access to each region. For those who don't know, you used to have to own an account for Korea, own an account for Europe. It was a pain in the ass trying to cast.
I totally forgot about that, but you're absolutely right. That was like back when I was starting to get like more and more casting gigs. Obviously not paid or anything, but I worried like I couldn't cast Europe because then I had to pay another $50.
It was funny too because I remember when we first started casting, like. I specifically remember snarking at you because you didn't know any European players because you never went to Europe. You didn't have the account for it. You're all about Korea. So it's just kind of...
Yeah, and I only ever stayed on North America Clan Wars, so...
Yeah, so it's like forever ago. Like, damn.
Yeah, it was Wings of Liberty. They did fix that hardest one. It was a really big deal, something that people were, it's no longer a dead game. They fixed this one thing.
Well, Drop's coming out of Major looking to do some damage. He's recovered from the workers a little bit. Both players on 3 bases, but uThermal been rocking that income this entire time. There's a 1-1 advantage for him, too, on top of this. The Vikings, I think, were the control Major was hoping to have coming forward, but they're not going to be enough.
Yeah, there's been a lot that's happened, I guess, while we were talking. Of course, Major has been just catching up for the majority of this game. His upgrades are much, much slower. In fact, like, almost on par with 2-2 for uThermal. Stim is a little faster. I guess that's one thing going for him, but his armor supply is a lot lower, too.
Tank waiting in the main. Nice shots getting fired. Vikings going to make the medevacs hard to come in, but they also might just land to try and help out a bit, too. That tank could be saved. He's not going to save it, though. He wants to get as many shots as possible before going down. 3 Vikings coming in, Marine fire on the ground. This should be an easy hold for uThermal.
Yeah, these drops just don't seem to do as much damage as they used to, but still, like, getting the SCVs off the mineral line, getting a couple of good blasts on them.
It's not just that they don't do as much damage as they used to. The timing on this is way off. The upgrades are off. I mean, this is at the back end of 12 SCVs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was something that he had to do, had to try, but it was going to be cleaned up unless he was, like... Unless he found the place that was like behind supply depots or something like that, the Marines couldn't catch him. But not going to happen. And Major knows he's in a bad position. So the only thing he can really hope for is, well, as we know, Stim being much faster and combat shields. So that's like a little bit of a hope. But unfortunately, production just won't be able to catch up.
Uh-oh, looks like Zombie Ghost's betrayal killed a bunch of people in the bank heist.
How do I betray people when I'm not even in the bank heist?
I think that's part of it. If you were part of the bank heist, you would have been helping them win, not killing everybody because you're salty about not being there.
Because I won a bank heist yesterday, and people were like, oh, you tripped me because they didn't win.
I'm just saying, if you would stop sabotaging everyone else, they might trust you a little more.
I have never sabotaged anyone. You know where this whole thing came from? Do you remember?
Every time I enter a bank heist with you, I would die and you'd get out scot-free?
Yes. That is
so
the
I'm just
reason.
saying, there is precedent, man. There's
really,
precedent.
It's only you that I have a grudge against, apparently. It's never been anyone else.
Ooh, Vikings almost get one of the medevacs with tanks in it. You throw him a lot more focus on the Marines, and I don't blame him. He picks off the Vikings for it. Pounces on top of the tanks, so the medevac Stim's pretty good. Boost right now for Major. He's going to lose all of his important units on the front lines. And this, I don't know if this would be a GG, but it might as well be.
Yeah. Marines a little overstimmed for it, but
Major's tanks weren't even sieged.
Oh, they do siege up, though.
That being said,
spread
look at that dance on the ground. GG gets called. uThermal gonna lock down game number 1. All right, pretty good first team. Oh, I took my hat off. I got a really bad hat here. That was a mistake. Okay, small break. Well, MajOr picks his map too, guys. We'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, a little bit back on that. A little bit slow on that comeback, guys, but we are getting into game number 2. It's the first semifinal still for the Corsair Cup. Just that reminder that this is made possible thanks to Corsair, guys. Every single week we've got one of these tournaments, and every single week Corsair could use a little bit of love. Make sure to check out their websites, buy their cool shit, and that's about all I need to say as we get into the intros. In the bottom right side of the map, he is going to be the blue Terran player, uThermal, aka uThermal.
In the top left as the red Terran, he is actually MajOr.
Base Lord CTC.
Yep.
I'm actually wondering if this has anything to do with Marine Lord, based Marine Lord's name joke thing or whatever, but MajOr has gone through many names, Altaria amongst others. And I'm curious like how much that sucks. Like I feel like for me and you at this point, we couldn't really rebrand. And MajOr's kind of in the same boat. Like I couldn't just start calling myself Wildfire or something cool tomorrow. Like it just wouldn't work, right? Like they'd be like, "Shut up, Rifkin, you're being stupid." There, tap you on the head.
Wildfire. like the Teen Titan? Oh wait, that's Starfire. Damn it.
Wow, your casualness is throwing shoot through. You might want to cover that up.
Still, please don't call yourself Wildfire. Yeah, we definitely could rebrand.
If anything, I'd have to go with Riptide, obviously.
Obviously. Yeah, I guess I'm fortunate enough that I like the name that I chose. A lot of people did end up, just becoming somewhat famous for one reason or another, and then they didn't really plan on having that name stick to them forever.
My problem is I have no problem with Rifkin. It's just the name's taken everywhere already. So like I really wish my Twitter and my username and my emails could all sync up, but they don't. They're all different,
Yeah, that would suck. Zombie Grub's usually not taken, so I got much going for me. It's also easy, like short. It's also easily shortened. That's what I was going for. With ZG. Yeah.
Oh, I mean Rifkin becomes Riff, and that's not so bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's better than our real names, for sure.
Graham and Jessica.
Do our real names have the same number of letters? 3, 6.
6 for me. 7 for you.
Yeah, almost.
Unless you took out one of the S's.
It's kind of useless anyways. Why is it even there? Okay, so...
Funny enough, though,
one base builds versus
our names
one base build.
shorten to the same thing.
Jess and
Graham. Graham, G-R-A-M.
Oh, like Grom?
Not Grom.
Grom.
You know what? The reason you can't say that is because the only other person who's ever called me Grom is Caitlin. So no thank you.
Ugh. No, never mind. I was going for Idra.
Idra?
Yeah, but Boxer called him the wrong thing. He was like, good luck, have fun, Grom or something. And he was like, it's Greg.
Oh, that's awkward. Okay, so we don't have anything super crazy like the Reapers this game, but we do have very different openings, and one of them is going to be the Banshee. And this is something that would have been amazing if uThermal was going for a really fast CC, which he's not. So MajOr's not going to get crazy good damage with this unless he happens to catch uThermal as he moves out. But the problem is uThermal moving out at a timing which should intercept said Banshee.
Yeah, one base versus one base can get very, very wonky, especially if it's like medevac drop versus medevac drop. This one usually is a little less so, but we'll see who gets better damage done. Obviously, MajOr has more damage over time potential, where uThermal has just instant damage with 3 Hellions and a medevac drop. Medevac will survive that.
Yeah, but it's scary to see nonetheless.
Yeah. Now, like, the option to elevator is definitely not there. So.
Ooh, the Raven's a cool idea to swap this out with. Talk more on that in a moment. As the depot gets a little bit low, Marines were trading out with the Hellions not too badly. Looks like the Reaper was pushed off, and the Banshee now approaching those front lines, but a missile turret's already been started. A Cyclone and a Viking are out. uThermal set for the home defense, but can MajOr hold against uThermal?
Game. Oh, the Raven can
auto turret. Where's the auto turret? But even then, a lot of SCVs die for it. 10 workers go down. Second Widowmine picks off that. That Widowmine just got a really great secondary hit. That may have actually just shut down the push entirely. And 20 SCVs, that's recoverable. It's not great, don't get me wrong, but that's recoverable.
That was so close. Like, thank God for that Widowmine. The auto turret didn't go down as quick as possible too, funnily enough, because the SCVs did block it out. But with uThermal's army so low, he does have to retreat. That is the better option. He has a couple more units to retreat too, so it's not like he's going to counterattack and get a lot of damage done. So that wasn't game. That looked like it would have been, but it wasn't. And 5 SCVs down is definitely something Major can make up. Even with a Banshee, even with uThermal's missile turret down, Vikings out, Cyclone out, the Banshee just needs to dive, maybe. You can probably get 5 kills. Wait for the command center on the natural to go down, probably get 5 kills.
That's a pretty hypothetical.
I think it can. As long as the Banshee is not, like, stopped halfway by the Vikings. I think it has... like, if it's suicides, literally suicides, you could probably get 4 or 5 SCVs. Oh, poor Helen.
By the way, so we're talking about nicknames. Riptide is kind of funny. I just realized there's actually maybe a good chunk of people now who don't know where that stupid thing came from. But we were invited onto the Blizzard stream for StarCraft Christmas arcade games with Day 9. It was really cool because Day 9 knew who me and Zombie were. He comes in, he's like, oh shit, is that Ripkin and Zombie? And it made me feel really good. But then the people from Blizzard didn't know my name and started calling me Riptide, and I'm like, do I correct him? Do I just let him go with it? So I just let him go with it for a while, and I was like, you know my name's Ripkin, right? Like,
yeah, I remember. Because I thought I just misheard, so I wasn't like...
Yeah.
I wasn't in on the joke or anything, although I should have been. I thought I misheard.
Well, the worst part of this Riptide thing is it stuck through with Overwatch because, you know, Junkrat's got Riptide ready to go, and then, like, every time Holy Moly would hear that, she thought they were saying Riptide, and I was like, come on. Banshee does sneak in, but that command center can land and scan. Gonna focus on that. Oh my god, he gets the Cyclone for it. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, stupid Cyclones.
He'll kill the Banshee, but...
Really low health.
Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. Just barely doesn't get outside the scan range. The Cyclone dying sucks. Not the worst thing in the world. But the command center timings here are not too different. Obviously, uThermal's a little bit better off with his, but the SCV count was band-aided up. The overall supply count not looking too bad. That's going to be annoying. Man, I hate this in TvT. I never catch that Widow Mine. I'll let it kill like 10 or 14 units before I finally clean it up.
So I think I played the same guy twice in the span of 6 months, but he had different account names, definitely. But it was a TvT both times. I don't remember his first account, but his second account was named Avillo. Which wouldn't surprise me if, like, it was Avillo, like, you know, leveling his account or whatever, but chat informed me that it wasn't, so whatever. But the same thing happened. He just went mass Widow Mines. Like, implanted them along my, like, route to killing him. And it didn't work on Arena, because he couldn't get that many Widow Mines fast enough. But it worked on Dusk Towers, and it was so infuriating.
Yeah, that's the stuff that puts me on tilt pretty hard. Position here is not too bad. Vikings should go in the favor of uThermal, because he can repair his up, but... yeah, a little bit awkward. He's just got to strip away that high ground vision so the tanks can't get those free fires, but he flies over the Marines, gets a little bit scary. But as we can see, without vision, these tanks can't shoot.
Nope, kind of useless like that. It is 4 Vikings versus 4 now.
It's an interesting position because he's kind of entrenching into what is potentially way too dedicated of a position while he takes a third. So this is how he gets ahead of uThermal.
uThermal has his own third done, I believe. Turning into orbital, so it's just not on location. So he could plant that down, transfer the SCVs over, and it'd be just that, you know, very awkward situation where you can't mine from half your minerals.
Widow ends up to 5 kills, by the way. That's certainly annoying. uThermal's the last couple of his tanks that he was going to have for the defense for this, so he's struggling to do anything to clean this up. In fact, he really just can't.
Marine's going from the backside, maybe trying to kind of pincer, but it's not...
Pincher? But I hardly know her.
But it's not really going to work that well, because, I mean, maybe if he can siege a tank up. Well, we'll see. He's actually just counter-attacking. If he got right onto the 3rd CC, he might be able to at least stall it out. Probably not kill it without stim, but he's instead going to the natural, which is not going to be... Like, there's nothing to do there. There's nothing to reinforce.
Major scans that, too. I have no idea what let him know that was coming, but...
The Widow Mine saw the Marines move out, and he thought that it was coming from behind, and then he was like, wait, what's happening?
That's a good point. Command Center, I don't think should die here. It might get a little bit low, but it shouldn't die.
If it dies, it's definitely Major's fault. He has enough reinforcements to take care of it now. Okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Siege continues to go up over here. uThermal is mining off of his 3rd, so I mean, this is the difference where he did push off that base, so... Well, not a lot's going on for him in the natural. His 3rd base is mining pretty happily. Major doesn't actually have any idea that's the case.
Yeah. He also has substantial upgrade leads with Major's only recently started 1-1, so given time, this will equalize probably, because half of base mining denied is pretty big. But, right now it's just, you transfer to the third, and you're still getting your production up, so it's not this terrible thing.
These Marines seem so lost.
They're just like, I don't know what to do. Do we counter? Do we come from behind? I don't understand. Yeah. Now, if he came from behind with 3 tanks to do that pincer move, probably work. Oh, this isn't really a pincer move. This is just a move it.
I'd like to move it.
Well, if Major does retreat, the Marines could probably snipe both tanks or all 3 Vikings or something like that. So, there's that scan.
Oh, someone on Twitter is saying we should cast some Warcraft 3 games. I don't think we could. We don't know enough about the game. But we used to play some Warcraft things. We used to play some Warcraft games on stream. It was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, I would actually be so down for playing that and Mass Effect 3 again, except for the Warcraft problem. Hosting is a bitch.
Yeah, we can never get games to work properly.
That is not... it's not good. Stim is done for both parties, but not combat shields. But uThermal has those upgrades.
Nobody with any siege tanks. So, not Marines. Excuse me. Major brings one over. This is why I hate when players don't have their own names. And actually ends up winning this fight pretty hardcore because of it.
Pretty hard. The Marines actually could stim because they lived. That was pretty big for Major. And of course, uThermal, he had an okay army supply, got sandwiched, and now with a quarter of the army supply almost, that might be game. That is game. GG.
All right, that's gonna bring us to a game 3, tied up now 1-1. But uThermal's pretty good at playing these ace match situations, so we'll see if Major can keep up and keep that momentum going. See you guys in a moment while uThermal picks his map. All right, folks, welcome back. Game 3. Everything now tied up 1-1 as we get to this semifinals match decider game in the Corsair Cup. I do apologize to the European players because it looks like today's going to run a little bit late. We got Neeb and Snoot still on deck to play. And then, of course, that best of 5 grand finals, but it means more StarCraft for you guys, the fans, so don't feel too bad about it. In the bottom right side of Frozen Temple, we've got the blue Terran. It's going to be uThermal.
In the top left as the red Terran, he is Major.
Now, actually, as much as I'm a little bit sad for the players that this is going longer, I'm personally a lot happier with a 5-hour cast than a 4-hour cast. But regardless of that, the brackets have mostly got held up just due to the flow of games more than anything else. We had a lot of really good matches early on, so it wasn't a bunch of 2-0s. So different parts of the bracket got held up for different various reasons.
Yeah, it's 2-1s, decently sized games. No super long games. That wasn't what held everyone up, but just everything lined up. Oh, as I lose my voice.
So a lot of the TvTs we cast on Korea end up being like, the 2 Reapers and a Hellion or 2 Hellions and a Reaper and awkward early game endings. It's something where it's definitely a possibility for these guys, but I don't know. I would much rather watch this go to Marine Tank again and see how they play that out.
It almost happened last game. If it wasn't for that Widow Mine, uThermal gets a second shot in the lined up SUVs, and it was probably game over.
It needs to be mentioned, like, that Widow Mine absolutely saved Major. If it wasn't for that Widow Mine, 100% uThermal wins that game. Yeah.
So it could happen again here as they both go for 1 base builds. Honestly, when I saw uThermal pick Frozen Temple, I was like, you're going to 3-Rax Reaper, ain't you? But nah, not going to bring out the obvious cheese. Now, this is a big difference. So not only does Major get a scout, okay, he's definitely going to die now. He also walled off his own, so he's not scouted, but he also has a wall against potential Hellions.
So I was excited to say proxy starport, but it's only 1 gas, so never mind.
Yeah. Gonna come back in later and see maybe, I guess, the timing on the CC on location. Yep. And Major does put it on location. So this is where things get a little bit different. I just assumed that Major was gonna go for his own starport, honestly. It's been... I don't know, I feel like it's been a while since I've seen that, like, you get the factory on 1 base, then you get the command center, but of course that is, a build that exists. Yeah. But now uThermal, with his much later command center, is going to have to do work with this.
Man, it's raining outside. That bums me out.
Bums me out hard. It's been so nice. Like, not for most people, 89 degrees is not nice, but for me, like, cloudy, a little windy, it's perfect. No rain.
Ah, man, I love when you see that happen. It's such a small detail. And maybe it's not worth it because of the economy loss for the few seconds, but just The fuck you give a Reaper by repairing an SCV feels so good. It's so dumb though, because for those who don't know, if the SCV continues to mine and run back and forth to the command center, you actually can't out-repair the damage because it runs away from the repairs. But if it holds position like you did, not a problem.
Yeah, everything lines up. All right, so command center is finishing up for Major. Just started for uThermal, but uThermal now has his medevac drop ready to go, and this could kill quite a few SCVs. It probably shouldn't snowball. It is just Marines, but it'll be able to be picked up and then come back later because, you know, the Viking's not going to be out for a little while longer. He does know about the command center too, so he should know the timing on the starport.
Well, this drop is not going to give it too much. There's enough Hellions at home for Major. I really don't think uThermal should be able to break him or anything, but it might still be annoying.
With the Hellions, he could try and just run past the bunker, but there's not that many Cs in the natural. Okay, yeah, he's going to try and get him the help. That's interesting. I don't know if it's going to work.
You know, if he just focuses on the reactor and leaves, that might not be too bad.
I think he needs SCV kills, at least like 2 or 3, and that's, you know, just dropping and leaving instantly on the natural mineral line.
Oh, Hellion control's pretty good. uThermal pushes forward through this. Of course, a lot of these Hellions are very, 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 very low. Viking gets picked off. That's really nice considering there's a Banshee follow-up to this. This medevac.
Oh my god.
This is doing a lot. I didn't think 4 Marines would get away with so much, but they do. Hellion gets picked off on the backside. SCV's unable to fight this. He's focusing down the Hellion. No kills on these 4 Marines. They still live and they go back to the mineral line.
And they heal up. There's only 1 Marine down there.
Not to mention
those couple of SCVs I was talking about. Well,
not to mention, that Banshee's on deck. It's a cloaked Banshee following this up.
Oh, and Major doesn't have a missile turret? Oh, he's building one right now on the main. Okay, so that's going to be able to help us take on the army,
even
though.
Then,
could lead to more Marine damage.
He's focusing down the heli. 1 Marine goes down, a little bit of focus fire. Starting to lose some of this finally, but there's been... I got to go to the income graph. There's been a lot of lost mining while this goes on. Missile turret finishes up. Medevac goes down. A little unfortunate. He'll leave with like 1 or 2 more SCV kills, but here comes that Banshee, and the first thing I note about this missile turret is that it's in a bit of a wonky spot. There's some space here on the left you can easily deny mining with and not be in range. Natural base, not so much. He's not going to be able to get too much done over here. But seriously, just hanging out on this left side, he can shut down so much.
Yeah. Of course, the vision is larger than its attack, so with the Viking there, it shouldn't be able to do very much. The missile turret should be just that much helpful. But second Banshee on the way, and the Viking can only be in one place at one time. Second Viking on the way. Again, if you really want to, you can suicide the Banshees, get as many kills as possible, but you can also save them to push later.
Yeah.
You know? Not that uThermal's looking to really do that. They're both getting 3rd CCs. uThermal's getting double engineering bay. His push is probably just going to be a very, very light contain, but the Banshees could help that.
By the way, thank you to Illusion Clock for the small host there. Shout out to you and your 15 friends. Hey guys, we always appreciate a host. What can I say?
Well, here comes the multiple Banshee attack, maybe? We get a single Marine go into the middle, I guess, to make sure that Major isn't going to try and attack him. Hasn't seen the 3rd CC yet of Major? Yeah, he hasn't. So it is a bit worrying. You know, what if Major just got a bunch of more production and is about to hit me?
He jukes out of that Cyclone range. That was kind of cool to see. Natural Banshee just kind of hold positioning, denying any mining that comes down here to the south, because SCVs are stupid units and they will transfer down here. They have no sense of danger whatsoever.
Yeah, there you go. 8 SCVs so far. This Banshee could take on the Cyclone because it has stupidly low health.
Oh! Flash shot from the lock-on.
Barely.
But this Banshee's still alive. And what is base?
He just walked out of range and even fully leave. uThermal transfers his 3rd command center. That's a lot more mining just instantly right here, right now. As Major is spending a little more time making sure he can get that 3rd base. His Vikings are going Banshee, Medevac, whatever hunting, I suppose, out in the middle of the map. And he is going to bring his tanks over. So this is something we see, you know, sometimes. Oh, the Banshee would be very useful, actually. Oh, yeah, at least get a scan. There you go. The double tank protected by Viking combination can actually do a lot. So, I mean, it's never game-ending, like I beat everything you had, but it could be a lot of Marines killed, a couple SCVs killed. Oh, unless they have more Vikings, then it's all for naught.
Yeah, so that'll actually drive the medevacs back. I love that he stutter steps through the Vikings because he knows he'll kill the Vikings, but he's hoping to catch the medevacs, but boost goes off and he will go home safe and sound. Major's fully aware that there's 3rd command center is behind, that he's going to be losing a little bit of this income war, and if it is passive play from here to max out, he will be the 2nd player to max out. I really like, by the way, just going back to that early game stuff out of uThermal. It really, TvT I feel has some of the most finesse for early game. And I don't just mean like in terms of we watched to micro a couple Marines around a medevac, but there's no other matchup I feel where 3 units can delicately end a game like Reapers and Hellion can. And you know, even PvP, you at least have the Mothership Core for defense, Zerg have Queens. Like Terran is such a delicate early game in that regard.
Back in the day, I remember losing a lot to the Zealot stock or Mothership Core poke.
Oh god. Oh Jesus, yeah.
Feels bad.
Hey, second turns to kill just hit 12 months. That's a full year, and also a part 2, my good friend.
Woo. Nice.
You curly-haired god.
MajOr just once again trying to apply any pressure that he can. He's behind on upgrades, behind on combat shields. His stim will probably finish, and of course, generally behind right now. uThermal, oh, this is clever. Trying to come in from behind, try and surprise him, because stim's done for him.
I mean, the thing about tanks, as good as they are, they can't really shoot 2 different directions. They're best focus fired all in one direction. These barracks, even if you get canceled, that kind of sucks. Hopefully it cancels. One goes down, one gets canceled. Third one is... boop, boop, beep, 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 beep. Dead? No. Now it's dead. Okay, there we go. Stims forward. He's going to be able to pick off the medevacs, maybe get some of the Vikings. Not too bad there, but MajOr's still not exactly too phased by this. 1-1 now finishes up for him. Not that it too matters with what he has on the front lines, but now his Marines can fight on even footing.
For a little bit. Second factory for both parties. All right, so gonna get quite a lot of tank production. I mean, that's one thing MajOr could depend on, is just having more tanks in general or better set up defensive tanks. Oh, but don't lose your medevacs, don't lose your Vikings either. Uh-oh.
Really awkward engagement as uThermal with the Marines just dances around this perfectly. Takes out the medevac. Oh my god, no, it just barely does. It's got 4 health.
Boost was so close to being over.
Now you can pick up those tanks and go push on that third. And his Marines won that fight in such a big way. It gives him such a nice lead following this up. Of course, the tanks are here to defend and keep this from getting too far out of hand, but as we can see, he's in range of the command, so he's able to pressure this. He pushes in, but by accident, by the looks of it, reinforcements rallied across the map as MajOr tries to consolidate his forces and find a way to break this.
Yeah. This is probably going to break MajOr in the next minute. So we'll see what his tank control can look like. There's only 1 medevac for him. It's not going to be too impressive control. Combat shields was a lot later for MajOr, so the Marines are obviously going to win.
He's not sieged. GG! uThermal to the finals! But of course, MajOr will qualify for the third place prize. So he'll get $10 for his placement here in the cup, which isn't too shabby, but of course it's all about first and second place, guys. So now we move on with Snoot and uThermal. We don't want to take up too much time, so we will not do small talk. We'll play some ads, we'll get this next lobby up, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes for Neeb versus Snoot in a PvZ best of 3.